there's an evil entity in the house.
You are about to see real people.
I was terrified beyond belief.
Reliving horrifying paranormal encounters for the first time.
I truly felt it was like living in hell.
When spirits talk to the living.
All of a sudden you hear the voice in the background say, "Get out."
I buried this for nearly 30 years.
Be prepared to be afraid.
Take one.
We lived in Rhode Island all our life. We originally moved to Texas just to try something new, to see if we'd like it somewhere else. But we missed home. We missed being near the water, the four seasons, the snow.
And one day we just found out, hey, I'm pregnant.
We basically decided after that to move back to Rhode Island because we grew up here. We raised our other two kids in Rhode Island, so we figured this one would be the best way to raise our son that's being born now.
When I found out Shalisa being pregnant, it was the happiest day of my life. I wanted to be close to my family. And I came back down and I got the apartment, the 3-bedroom apartment. It was great. High ceilings, big rooms, you know.
No one lived in it for a long time, so I was like, it was meant to be. It was meant to be our place for us and our kids. The plan was me and my husband would move down to Rhode Island while my kids would stay in school in Texas to finish out the school year. I didn't feel right taking them out of school, so we just let them stay there with my brother, who resided down in Texas, while we moved down to Rhode Island to get ourselves settled and situated. He was there for about a month by himself.
I was kind of lonely, you know. I was all by myself, not seeing my wife or anything like that. One night, I came home. I was sitting down in my living area watching some TV, and I look out into my kitchen. And I actually took like a 2-time look. It was just like a tall, real tall, like maybe 6'7", just dark figure, like a shadow. If I stand in front of a light and look behind me and with a mirror on, you see my big shadow behind me? That's pretty much what it looked like real dark and deep. Is that someone standing in my house? And I'm the only one living there, you know? I didn't even have my dog with me, it was just me.
Brian shared the experience with his wife, Shalisa.
My husband would tell me at nighttime, he would look out the living room while he laid on the couch watching TV, and our living room faced the kitchen. And when he would look out there, he would see a dark figure just standing there staring right back at him.
I don't know, he was trying to play it off like a joke, you know, ha, 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 you know. I don't know if she believed me or not, you know, because, I don't know, she didn't see it for herself yet, pretty much.
I just thought he was overly tired, you know, and his mind was playing tricks on him. I didn't think that there was anything there.
When my wife, Shalisa, moved in, it was great. I was happy. There was someone there with me, you know. I wasn't there all by myself. I looked forward to coming home.
I loved the apartment. It was what we needed. I felt happy. I didn't want to think that it was anything wrong with it. At first, it was light and bright and happy, and then suddenly it just started changing. The atmosphere of it really was different. I would go in the kitchen, I would cook, I'd hear something behind me, and I'd just brush it off, thinking it was my dog, or, you know, just not putting much thought into it at all.
But Shalisa suddenly felt a wave of negative energy wash over her.
There was this overwhelming feeling of sadness. of irritation, of anger. I kind of brushed it off my shoulder thinking, well, maybe it's my mind playing tricks on me. Maybe, the exhaustion from moving and into a new place, different state, maybe that was getting to me. So I kind of brushed it off at first. After my husband would leave for work at 5 o'clock in the morning, I would get up and just start cleaning the house. And I'd hear whispering from the right side of my head, which would be from towards the kitchen. Now, I'm thinking it's a TV. Maybe somehow it's projecting itself throughout the room. But it was multiple whispers. All I heard was pss, 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 pss. I could not make out what it was saying, but I could just hear the voices whispering inside the kitchen. I thought I was going nuts. I really thought, I hear little voices in my head. I couldn't pinpoint it at the time what was going on.
The experiences continued to escalate.
Me and my husband were watching television.
Reliable sources say that chicken soup has proven to be...
I was laying down on the couch. I happened to look to my right. And I seen the same shadow figure that my husband was telling me about, just watching us. Wouldn't move. I didn't see a face. It was just a figure. I turned around to my husband and I basically poked him in the shoulder and I said, "Do you see what I see?" He leaned over, he goes, "That's what I've been telling you. I've been seeing the entire time I've been here."
And then that right there made me feel like I wasn't crazy.
I thought could have been a light, it could have been something passing there, but there was absolutely no lights in my house but the glowing from the TV. There is something in here that's watching me for some reason.
She was frightened, my wife was frightened about seeing the shadow guy. And I was scared for her too, because I'm like, hey, there's someone else in the house, something else is here. It's just watching us.
It was about to get much worse.
I was in the shower one day, and I usually have the bathroom door open just in case I hear somebody knocking on my door. I heard somebody's hand was wet and it streaked down my kitchen table and made such a screeching sound. Fingerprints and a handprint streaked down, wet on my kitchen table.
Shalisa searched for an explanation.
My door was dead bolted upstairs. There's no way anybody else could get in. At that point in time, I did call my husband and said, "Listen, I gotta go, I gotta leave, I can't be here right now. This is really freaking me out."
I came home that night about maybe 8 o'clock and the box was still sitting on my table. Of like fingerprints being slid down the table.
I woke up one morning and I looked down. There were 3 bruises, fingerprint bruises.
Like little tiny fingers.
It looked like somebody came up from behind me and grabbed me. I couldn't explain it.
And she definitely would remember someone or something actually did that to her.
Unexplained bruises and markings could be unexplained paranormal phenomena that a person's experiencing from a haunting. Sometimes it takes a drastic measure, such as a physical impression on the body, like bites or scratch marks or something like that, to actually change a skeptic's mind into believing that they're experiencing something paranormal.
A couple days later, I realized, I looked down on my leg and there were scratches also on my leg. 3 deep scratches on my legs, so it was very frightening. It looked like somebody ran their nails right across my legs, and their nails were very sharp, so it left 3 marks on my leg itself, on my left leg, on my thigh. I was worried for my baby's safety. I didn't know if what was happening would affect my child that I was carrying in my stomach. I didn't know if it was somehow, some way trying to get to my baby.
She wanted out. And I kept on insisting that, no, we can't, there's nowhere else we could go. You know, I don't have the money to get another place, and it's gonna take a while to find another place, and this is suitable for us. And I felt bad for her for saying that to her because, you know, I'm supposed to be supporting my wife. You know, and then I felt bad because I couldn't protect her and my child.
At this point in time, the progression was unbelievable. I mean, the bruises started coming, the scratches started coming. It seemed like it had a personal vendetta against me. I did go to my my OBGYN. The baby was fine. I was fine. There was nothing going on wrong. Everything was normal. That was a huge relief that everything was going okay.
After getting a clean bill of health, Shalisa would experience her most vivid and violent episode.
I remember one morning, my husband left probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock to go to work. As always, like every morning, I get up, I make him his cup of coffee, and I wait for him to go to work. I'll lock the door behind him and I'll go back and I'll lay down on the couch.
She said she was trying to fall back to sleep with her arm over her head.
And I'm just laying there. There was no TV on. There was no nothing. I was wide awake. All of a sudden, I felt something grab my hand and hold on to my hand. It was a very, very tight grip. It felt so real, like it was another human being there that grabbed onto my hand. Next thing I know, as I'm facing upwards,
Shalisa Carvelis and Brian Rodriguez had moved into a new apartment, only to find themselves attacked from the spirit world.
all of a sudden I felt something grab my hand and hold on to my hand. Next thing I know, as I'm facing upwards, I seen something to start hovering right over me. I seen the hair, forehead. It was just levitating right over me. I blacked out because I was so scared. I called my husband up.
And she actually wanted me to turn around and come back home, but I couldn't.
At this point in time, it was the scariest thing that happened, yes.
She sounded very frightened, very scared. She didn't want to be in that house until I came home.
I was afraid for my baby. I was afraid for me because if it was just targeting me and hurting me, I was afraid it was going to hurt my son too. We needed to find somebody that could help us.
The couple reached out to paranormal investigator Jack Kenna.
My impression of them over the phone was that they were very sincere, very genuine.
I told them about the bruises. I told them about the dark figure.
During the investigation, when we got there, we spoke to the clients. We started setting up our equipment.
There's a green dot on there.
I got a device here. It's a K2. We have a few devices we use. I have a tablet that I use that's got an application called Ghost Radar. They left for the evening, and then we started to try to interact with whatever might be there.
I felt like, great, he's gonna do something for me. He's gonna take care of this. I was excited to see him.
We have been invited here by Shalisa and Brian, because Shalisa and Brian have both been experiencing very strange things here they can't explain, and I think it's you. They think it has something to do with a spirit. We sat down, we started talking and just asking questions. You know, who's here with us? Is there anybody around here with us? We want to talk, we want to find out who you are. Shalisa was actually scared to the point where she blacked out on this exact couch. And I'm really feeling...
It is heavier.
No, I'm really feeling it. And I suddenly started getting a strong, heavy feeling. The room was light when we first walked in, but I got a very heaviness, and the room seemed to be getting harder to breathe in, which is usually an indication that something might be going on. You have an opportunity to talk to us, to let us know what's going on. We noticed a blip, which usually indicates some type of energy. It could be spirit energy, it could be something else.
Devices can be used for spirit communication, in which an entity or a human spirit can manipulate the energy levels to provide yes or no answers.
2 blips for yes, 1 for no. Are you the tall shadow man that they see, both Brian and Shalisa have seen? Are you the tall shadow man? Yes. Yes. My psychic friend told me that she felt there was a male figure, very strong male figure in the house, negative individual. He was not a very nice person when he was alive, didn't like women, was an abuser. He was still there and felt he owned the house was his, and nobody else should be there. But at the same time, you know, he was attracted to the energy of Shalisa. They're trying to use Shalisa's energy. Yes. The response was yes. They're trying to use her energy. Her entire energy.
Another EVP device includes taking measurements from the environment, such as temperature, the barometric pressure, and assigns those numbers to a word out of a word database. And so it's believed that the spirit can actually generate a conversation or words in context with the investigator by manipulating their environment.
And that was on the Ghost Radar. And I said, well, no, you can't do that. You know, that's wrong. You can't do that. That's not good. And we caught an EVP, the male voice, saying, I can.
EVP stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon. This is when people capture disembodied voices of the dead.
You can't do that. At that point, we kind of knew it's trying to take her energy from her, which is never good. You can't do that.
We got back to the house around 12 o'clock. Midnight. Jack came in the living room and says, you know, I usually don't do this, but I'm gonna sit down and tell you. They did catch some EVPs and voices on the recording.
How about walking through this room?
All of a sudden you hear the voice in the back room say, get out. It was very shocking. The other one was about the energy, when he said, Jack told him, no, you can't have her energy.
You can't do that.
What was your reaction?
It was a relief. I was very relieved that there was actually something there, and it just took a big weight off my shoulder to see, okay, somebody else has seen it, somebody else has heard it.
They're happy to know that, okay, you know, good, we at least really know now that we're not crazy, we're not imagining this. At the same time, it can make you very nervous.
I was kind of overwhelmed. There was a dark, dark figure that was trying to steal my baby's energy and my wife's energy.
It's always kind of a double-edged sword.
Hearing the voice of the ghost seemed to bring the terrifying events to a new level.
I was laying down, and all of a sudden, the blankets came around me.
Brian Rodriguez and Shalisa Carvelis had been experiencing paranormal phenomena in their new apartment. After calling in an investigator to help them make sense of the events, they heard the voice of the entity tell them it wanted to possess Shalisa.
That's not good.
I was laying down, and all of a sudden, the blankets came around me. It wrapped me up basically like a burrito. I couldn't get out, I couldn't move. I tried fighting my way out. There was no way. About 2 minutes passed, and all of a sudden, the blankets released me. I leaned over, I pointed to the door, and as soon as I opened my mouth,
I have her now. She's mine now.
I have her now, she's mine. It was what basically came out of my mouth.
Something came out of her mouth, but it wasn't her voice saying,
She's mine now.
she's mine now.
I didn't have control of what I was saying.
Demonic entities can temporarily possess people and speak through them, or there's sometimes more prolonged possessions. But basically, an entity is able to take over the body, the emotions, the mind of a person, the victim, and use that body to manipulate and generate different words or communicate a message to the rest of the people there.
I don't remember saying it. I don't remember getting up. I don't remember waking him up. Not being in control made me very, very frightened that I eventually was gonna hurt somebody or something, and I couldn't control it. And that's not how I wanna live my life anymore. I was very, very scared out of my wits. Because if he could do that to try to hurt me, he's hurting my baby too. And I didn't know what to do at that point in time.
The one person the couple thought could help was paranormal investigator Jack Kenna.
I went back to their home, and I decided to try a new technique to look for portals within the home. If you're near a portal, it'll start to swing. It'll kind of give you the direction of the portal. It'll let you know it's there, and it'll swing like a pendulum. And if it's very strong, it'll swing very quickly and very obviously. I found several portals, many portals within the home, more than I expected, and I found about 18. In this particular case, these were spirit portals where spirits can come in and out of. And the fact that the apartment was empty for so long before they moved in would only make that entity feel more that it's his. And whatever's in there is his. And that's never a good thing. So what I envision is a torn piece of fabric with light coming through it, and I'll sew it closed. And you do that to every single one. I also talk to the spirits that are there and say, you know, anything negative has to leave. You can't stay here, you have to go, especially the male figure. And when I started closing these portals, there was a lot of activity on it at first. And then, nothing.
Jack was confident the spirits would no longer be able to access Brian and Shalisa's home. But the whole experience was just too frightening for the couple.
So we thought the best thing would be just to leave. Even if we had nowhere else to go, it would be better than dealing with this every single day.
Hopefully it doesn't follow us, you know? If it follows us, then I'm in that whole line of again. Excuse my French. You know? But, yeah, I just hope it doesn't follow us. If it doesn't follow us, I'll be happy anywhere else let it stay there. You know?
After moving out of their Pawtucket home, the paranormal events ended for Shalisa and Brian. Electronic voice phenomenon is just one method an entity can use to speak with the physical world. Séances and spirit boards can also allow the dead to talk.
Buck.
Trevor and I, we both met each other actually over the internet. We've been together for 4 years.
But eventually we decided to move in together. So we started looking online, and I found this house, one that just stood out to us for some reason.
I fell in love with the location. I was like, okay, this feels like home.
When we first went to visit for the viewing for the house,
First location was the basement.
the feeling when I first walked down was there was definitely some odd energy downstairs. It wasn't like an open, airy space. The first thing you notice is this big old cistern. It's actually a well that's indoors. And in the old days, they would use that well for storing water, either from the eaves troughs off the roof, going directly in, or even putting snow from the winter inside to melt. It was really odd when I went down there first, because it's not something that you would expect to see down there. The presence of the cistern in there just gave it, like you're wondering what's beyond that point kind of feeling. You're just not quite sure why there's a darkness in that back corner area.
Trevor Bishop and Mark LaRocque had found a house they loved and moved in together. But a spooky cistern in the basement was giving off negative energy and filling them with a sense of dread.
Like you're wondering what's beyond that point. So we had an incident happen the first day that after we moved in, I was heading off to work in the morning.
Right when we woke up, Trevor was looking for the car keys.
And I couldn't find them anywhere. I asked Mark to look around downstairs for me. We looked around, must have been for 10 or 15 minutes straight, and we could not find them anywhere. Finally, Mark has enough.
And I said, that's it. Put the keys back right where you got them. And then same spot that we checked a couple times, the keys were sitting right there.
I precisely know I looked at that spot.
There's numerous reasons why a spirit might apport or manipulate or remove items from a household. Typically, it's to get the homeowner's attention because maybe that spirit wants help, or to engage and interact with those people, or sometimes the spirit might just have a certain affinity for an object.
The house was holding more secrets for Mark and Trevor to uncover.
One night I was using the washroom, and all of a sudden I just heard I thought it was Mark actually, because it was around 9 o'clock at night, and that's the time sometimes he goes to bed at. I thought maybe he was carrying our cat coming up the stairs, going slowly, taking one step at a time, like step, step, step. I wanted to double check to see if that noise I heard was Mark or not. Went downstairs and asked Mark if that was him, of course.
Yeah, I'm actually sitting down in the living room, and Trevor came out and had said, "Was that you climbing up the stairs?" And I turned around and said, "No, I've been down here all this time watching television."
It couldn't have been him because there's no time for him to get from downstairs to upstairs in the time I came out of the washroom, so.
The basement remained a source of bizarre events.
When we first were checking out the cold room in our basement, once we moved in, we noticed there was an odd sort of feeling downstairs.
There was an energy presence that was trying to push me back. But I could still feel the energy right there. Just more or less the feel. Hands pushing me back, trying to push me up the stairs, saying, "Okay, you're not welcome." It felt like a bunch of energy just coming right at you. Basically picking you up and throwing you actually off your feet, you landing 10 feet back. That's exactly what I was feeling.
Almost as if somebody was down there sort of either watching you or just some odd kind of energy coming from that back area where a cold room is.
It was like, "Don't come downstairs. Do not come downstairs." There was one incident, though, that I was downstairs with Trevor.
We were cleaning up our tent that we actually had outside, and we brought it back in. So I was busy folding that up, putting it away.
While I was doing the laundry, I was facing the cistern. And it feels like somebody's down there sort of watching you. I was feeling this kind of presence still that you gotta look up and look over towards the cold room door.
That's when he noticed the activity coming from the door to our cold room.
Trevor Bishop and Mark LaRock had bought their dream home. But after moving in, they found themselves plagued by ever more terrifying ghostly phenomena.
That's when he noticed the activity coming from the door to our cold room.
I saw this hand reaching out, trying to reach towards Trevor while Trevor was back was towards it. And all of a sudden it went back in.
Frustrated and unable to explain the odd events in their new home, Mark and Trevor contacted a medium friend, Jen.
I am a ordained spiritualist minister in the province of Ontario. So I do weddings and funerals, those sorts of things. But then I also have a passion for physical mediumship and work with individuals to bring them comfort, bringing their loved ones that have passed through so that they know that they're not on this earth plane, but they still are in the continuum and that they support them and love them and that at some point we'll be reunited with them.
So she's a very open person to everything paranormal, spiritual, and she's very accurate as well because she is a medium too.
The house was built in the 1920s. It is a brick house and on a limestone foundation. It's about a stone's throw from the Grand River, so you have continually running water, which puts out negative ions, which allows spirit to come forth. And it has a cistern in the basement, which again, when you have energy constantly moving, is another way for a spirit to be able to manifest.
Determined to help Trevor and Mark, Jen started looking for uninvited spirits in their home.
I had sensed that there was something upstairs. Since it's an active house, you can also pick up energies in a house of people. It's an imprint. So lots of sort of memories in a house doesn't mean that it's haunted or that there's spirits, but there's definitely sort of many years of family memories that are in that house as well.
Is there anyone here?
A little girl, blonde, curly hair, big blue eyes, and she was coughing and she still had that fever, so she was showing me that that's how she'd passed. So it felt like either scarlet fever or like a typhoid or something like that, of that sort of period. 1920s, 1930s, that sort of era of time. So I said, yeah, she used to go to the attic that way, and that's why you're hearing sounds of footsteps. She's in no way, problematic. She's just there and will probably always be there.
The energy in the basement would prove to be more of a challenge.
And as soon as I walked in, I could smell that swampy kind of damp. And I could see the wet footprints on the floor. So as soon as I walked in, I knew it, and then he appeared to me. So I could see him, and he was dripping wet, and he was in, clothes that were sort of 100 years old. He drowned because I feel it, so I could feel water in my lungs. I started coughing up. And just knew that he had drowned quite suddenly and unexpectedly. Got him feeling that he was safe and that I wasn't trying to banish him.
What is your name?
I got the name Andrew.
Jackson.
She was able to pick up the last name Jackson.
One of the main reasons a spirit will actually verbally communicate with someone is often to share their story or to get a certain message across, whether they have unfinished business or unresolved issues, maybe from a traumatic death. Oftentimes, spirits will actually reach out to share their story verbally, and so people will experience auditory phenomenon with paranormal incidents.
We wanted to do some research first to find out more information on the spirit himself. And we came across his name in an article about a boat accident that happened back in 1878. There was about 18 or 20 young people, all around the age of 20 years old. They went on what they call a pleasure cruise in those days, which was just like a modified rowboat that had a steam motor in it. They ran into trouble one evening that they were out on the water, and the rudder got stuck. Instead of turning away from the dam, got stuck and turned right into the dam and capsized. Now, not all the people perished on this accident. The two women that were with them, they escaped unharmed, but unfortunately the rest of the men that were on did perish. The bodies weren't found. They were all drifted downriver by the time they went to check. And Andrew Jackson was one of these men that was on the boat at age 19.
Quite often when you pass really suddenly and unexpectedly, you don't realize you're dead. And felt like he had a lot of things that he still needed to do, so was having a really hard time moving on. He ended up having family that owned the property that we're currently on. So what we think happened to our spirit's body is he ended up floating down the river and recognized the land that his family owned, which is now our property, and his spirit got off at our place.
Knowing that Andrew had really existed, it spurred the couple on to take communicating with the spirits to the next level.
We wanted to try to get some evidence of the spirits that are there and why they are there. We set up our night vision camera system in 2 different places. We set one up downstairs, and we also set one up in the attic upstairs. In that one camera that we had upstairs, we actually got some activity.
Trevor Bishop and Mark LaRock had spirits living in their new home. In an attempt to communicate with the paranormal, they set up recording devices around the house.
In that one camera that we had upstairs, we actually got some orb activity.
Roughly around 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a ball of energy that came across actually from the right-hand side, came in front of the camera, and it shot down towards the stairs.
It went from the camera all the way to the back and actually turned the corner and head down the stairs towards the stairs of the attic. So
this orb did move in a distinct fashion that would suggest that it wasn't dust.
we really want to find out more information about who the spirit is that is in our basement.
So a seance is an opportunity for the medium, which in that case is myself, to open up and allow spirit to come through and communicate. We had 2 skeptics. I always intentionally bring skeptics or people that have never sat in my seances before so that you've got objective people saying, yeah, I can't explain what happened. So I think they were really excited about it. So we give spirit permission to use our energetic bodies in order to come through and communicate and give message and pass on whatever information that they want to do.
She was telling us that we had 3 spirits in our house. There was a male, and there was a girl, a child. And to date, we have met all of them so far, so she's been right on, so.
That was when Andrew interacted. Things moved, there was banging, there was sounds, there was noises, all that kind of thing. So he was definitely there and interacting and gave some feedback about, things he liked and didn't like and things like that. We asked him questions.
Andrew, are you happy though that we're here? Do you want us to move? The table actually did shift, and then it was pushed actually into me, basically saying to us, even to me, don't move, I want you here.
Andrew was stuck before we started working with him. Now he comes in and out at will because he just wants to see what's going on.
We believe that Andrew was looking for some connection, and we hope that now that we've done the research, we've communicated with him, he knows that we're open to communicating with him, that maybe it'll be easier for him to move on. And we hope that he is able to do that now.
This little girl in their house, she's just mischievous and she's lonely. She doesn't have anyone to play with. She doesn't have anything to play with. I get the impression, too, that her mother hadn't yet passed. So I suspect when her mother passes that she will then go along, too. So quite often they'll hang out and wait until a parent has passed over, and then that parent will help them cross them over. It was just like a little kid that played strange. It was that sort of feeling, and just she was confused as to why her mom wouldn't come and talk to her and that kind of thing. I had said to them when I did a seance at their house, I said, look, you need to get her a doll or something to play with. And since they've got her a plaything, it's settled down. The keys have stopped moving, stuff has stopped vanishing. She's still there, but she's not causing issues with people being late and moving keys and things that are important.
After communicating with the spirits, Mark and Trevor have a new understanding of their paranormal encounters.
I think it was more of a reaching out just to say, seeing if it could reach me. It was trying to maybe reach towards me to say hi. If it reached me far enough to touch me, it may have just touched my back, like a tap on the back saying, hey, I'm here. And that's about it. It wasn't a negative, like black shadow or something trying to take over you or something like that.
Oftentimes, people have noticed that paranormal activity has decreased when they actually engaged in conversation and let the spirit share their personal story. Sometimes it's almost as if they're being the psychiatrist for the spirit so that they can get something off their chest, or to be able to set certain boundaries with the spirit and communicate with them and set those established perimeters. And a lot of the times, the hauntings will actually be resolved.
I feel that the spirits are not negative. They're not trying to harm us in any way. It's not poltergeist activity or anything like that that's throwing things. It's just movement. They're moving things to let you know they're around. And I'm okay with that.
We've come to full understanding. We're here for you. You guys are here for us. Let's work together.
As long as we're not getting harmed or there's no trouble from them, then we're totally fine having them here.